Satnam, welcome, hola, beautiful friends, beautiful souls. I hope you are all doing well on this beautiful day. Tuesday, what's today? July 18th, 2023. Wednesday on the other side of the planet. So happy wacky Wednesday to those and happy Tuesday to the rest of you. I bet you're surprised to see me because I am on vacation. But I wanted to touch base with you. We're not going to do a full episode today, but there's some stories that I want to cover in this episode of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time, Predictions Updates. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman, and I welcome you to my channel, back to my channel. If you're new here, we do this every Tuesday, except today is going to be more like a third of an episode because it's vacation day, vacation week, and a hot week it is here in Arizona, coming at you from Sedona, Arizona. And it is 10 a.m. in the morning here, and by the time you're watching this, it'll be 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't have everything forged out like I normally do, but there are some topics that I wanted to cover today, some predictions that I wanted to add in, some visions that I had over the past week. Usually I have everything totally written out and channeled through information, but this is kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. And again, if you're new here, welcome to our tribe. If you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, you found the perfect tribe. You gotta smash that subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell and the all so that you get notifications, hopefully. And always come back and check your subscriptions, because sometimes people are mysteriously unsubscribed from many channels here on YT or wherever you may be watching me, whether it be Rumble or some other platform. So again, I welcome you. We do this every Tuesday, talk about news stories, how they relate to predictions, prophecies, and so much more. Starting off with weather and the craziness of weather, because I talked about massive tornadoes and all hitting the east coast of the United States, and just over a couple days ago, there were 11 reported tornadoes in Chicago. Chicago, 11. There's that magical number 11 that we talk about all the time. Also today we're going to talk about India. Did you know that India just launched a rocket to the dark side of the moon? I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Did you know that India did that? I had no clue that India had their own rocket thing. I thought it was just a competition between United States, Russia, and China. Even though they're all in it together. That's a reminder too, by the way. A remote viewing shamanic journey that I just did on Antarctica that was quite disturbing, actually. I will edit and upload that, hopefully, and have that available for you by the end of the week, hopefully. But again, I am on vacation. If not, definitely you'll see that on Monday. Keep an eye out for that, because I think my next remote viewing and shamanic journey is going to be to the moon. But I want to know in the comments below what you think and what you would like, because that's important too. So leave them down below. I read all the comments. So the weather, and I don't know, I wasn't able to confirm this story, but in the Netherlands, the government has resigned. You know, in the Netherlands, they pretty much totally destroyed the whole farming community. Whereas the Netherlands is the most fertile land in the world, they say, where we have more exports of fruits and vegetables and grocery items than any other country. Their farmers are up to par and amazing. Farmers all over the world can learn about the farmers in the Netherlands, although they are all being pushed out from their land, just like they are all over the world. We already know that Billy G, is buying up all the property, all the farmland, and is now the second largest owner of farmland in the world, next to China, who's number one. Coming into the United States, buying up everything. Why do you think this is occurring? Not only that, did you know that they just certified, what do they call it? Fake meat. Just got this whole certification, so you need to go into your grocery stores now and read the packaging, because you might be buying lab-grown meat, because they're pushing that agenda as well. Just like they're pushing the agenda of blocking out the sun. Same idea came from Billy G, of course. Buying up all our farmland is a simple, easy way for them to control the food and the food industry. Two things that they said back in the 50s, control the weather, you control the world. Control the food, you control the people. Control the water, you control the people. And we see that happening. This is why I've been encouraging you for years to stock up on survival gear, because no matter what, things can happen no matter where you live, especially with the shifting of our planet and the crazy weather patterns that are coming and going. It's always important to be stocked up. Not only that, having some type of backup electricity generator of some sort, preferably I say solar, because if everything's shut down, you're not going to be able to get gas or propane or fuel for your generator. So you need something that, worst case scenario, so solar would be the best way to go. They have solar everything, solar charge your phone, solar that, solar this, and a little tiny generator to keep you on your internet, especially if you depend on it like I do. So it's really, really important because we see the agenda that they're pushing. They're wiping out the cattle, they're wiping out the animals, they don't want you to eat meat, and this is why I also encourage you to start growing your own gardens, get your own chickens if you can, because look at the price of eggs and the price of things and how much they tripled in price, many things. It's unbelievable, right? And this is what we have going on in the world with, Gates and China and all them buying everything up. So, that's another thing I wanted to tell you about. So there was also, I said that there would be, in my predictions, an earthquake near Alaska that would cause a tsunami that would hit an area that wasn't populated. Well, I think it was a 7.2, I don't have it in front of me. Like I said, I didn't work on notes. But Alaska did have that exact quake that I predicted in a tsunami. Or a tsunami warning. Regardless, it didn't affect anybody, thankfully for that. So we're going to see a lot in the way of weather coming up. But as I've been saying for the longest time, September, October, November is going to be the most intense time period of the year, besides what we went through earlier in the year. That's when we hit the Mercury retrograde at the end of August. We just had the new moon yesterday on the 17th here in the United States, and for others, I guess it was the 18th. This new moon opened up the day before that. On the 16th, we had the second energy surge from the 777 vibration. Remember, that all opened up, the doors of the 777 portal opened up on July 7th in our 7-year. But now the doors open and there's 3 phases to this cycle. The second phase just happened this weekend on Sunday the 16th as a big wave of energy came out that 7-7 portal. We'll have another one hitting on Tuesday the 25th next week. So I'll be talking to you next week anyway, of course, and with a full episode, so keep an eye out for that. So that last wave is going to be really, really interesting because that happens exactly halfway between the new moon and the full moon in the waxing moon cycle. So by August 1st, in between that time period of August or July 25th, when we have that next wave of energy coming in, I would expect major events to occur on that day in itself. Maybe even that 3-day period of the 24th, 25th, and 26th. But then when we get to that weekend, the very end of July, moving into the full moon on August 1st, that's where I would warn again for intense weather systems, intense tornado activity on the East Coast of the United States, and even in other places. There were tornadoes reported in Africa. Where else were there tornadoes? UK had a tornado. And we're going to see tornadoes in places that we've never seen them before. This was in my predictions several years ago. Really interesting. So by August 1st, I would expect something big to happen right around that date on the full moon itself, not just in the way of weather, but in the way of world events. Perhaps events that lead to DT, the former president. Because, there's been lots of distractions, like the Titan, big distraction that was. And people don't realize what was happening when that whole Titan thing, story was covering, they were jamming it down our throats. Even though, we talked about that last week. So if you want to know more about the Titan and the faking of a billionaire's death to hide something, who was the head of SETI, search for alien intelligence, search for extraterrestrial, SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He was the head of it. And all of a sudden he imploded in the Titan. That was all a huge distraction as they were passing the fake meat in the United States, perhaps in other countries, pushing that agenda forward so people didn't know about it? Did you also know there were votes to impeach the President of the United States during that same time period of the Titan? All huge major events occurred that the news media did not cover because they were pushing that story down our throats, kind of like they did with the Chinese spy balloons and the UFOs. This is what they do. This is what we know they do. So when there's a big event like that happening, so many people were glued to their TVs thinking this was real. Yeah, it was a real Hollywood enactment is what it was, to throw you off so that you didn't know what was really happening, especially here in the United States, of course, but globally as well. Lots of global craziness stories that were happening. Going back to the former president, DT, I've told you before, if you go back to my 2016 predictions, and things do shift and change. We have to understand that things do shift and change when it comes to predictions. Things can happen. That's why we put this out there, so together our tribe can hold in the light positive intentions and shift timelines and shift events. We have the power to do that. That's why they don't want people to know certain things, because they don't want you to work against darkness. Remember, the light that shines within us has the power to take them all down. But so many people are consumed with negativity and everything negative that's going on. Like someone left a comment, oh, these predictions are doom and gloom. Well, if that's going to affect you in that way, then you shouldn't be watching. This is all intended to help shift our consciousness to awaken people and to be aware of events that are coming up in the future. So an attack, going back to DT, I said in 2016 that he would win 2 terms. You would instantly think 2 consecutive terms, which could have been the case that it should have been, but who knows, maybe it's the next term. And that he would die in the 3rd year of his 2nd term. Now, if he was actually reelected and currently the leader, this would be the month that he would be passing away, because Spirit told us a month after his birthday. So will he be reelected? Personally, I think they're going to take the guy out completely. And they may do that by first sending him an arrest related to the whole January, the date, the 6th, and that whole chaos that happened. Another event that we know was like going to a Broadway show, because that's exactly what it was. So don't be surprised when you see that being the next target of this hunt to take this man down. I also truly believe that they are probably going to do everything possible to completely take that person out, along with RFK. So what else do I have here? Spirit showed me, remember last week, in my July predictions. So if you missed my July predictions, be sure to check them out. In my July predictions, I had a vision of someone being invaded in the early morning hours before sunrise, like about 3 a.m. in the morning. And I wasn't quite aware as to who was being invaded and by who that was being invaded. And it was a surprise, one of them shocking events that I believe is going to happen between September and November. Well, now I kind of really am thinking that this is an invasion that's coming to Taiwan. I truly believe that in time, China is going to invade Taiwan. And it has nothing really to do with Taiwan as much as it has to do with controlling their chip manufacturing companies and everything else that Taiwan is better at China at doing. And hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully that is not what's going to happen. But I kind of feel like steps are being taken, kind of like the same steps that were taken by Russia prior to the Russian invasion of UKR. So I believe that China is going to invade Taiwan before the end of 2024, probably around the month of September. Maybe the end of August, but probably in September. At the latest, November. So hopefully, again, that's wrong. We can hold in the light and hold all those people in the light when it comes to the, what do we call them? Taiwan people. I hope I said that right and didn't butcher it. Let's see what else here. I have a few things again. Yellowstone. A disease outbreak in September. I think I put that in my July predictions. Something more is happening in the way of Russia, and to the point of Russia calling martial law. And again, that's something that could likely happen really, really soon, but even more so in the month of September. It's going to be interesting when the September predictions come around. Very, very interesting. Precious metals. I have this strong feeling, I've been telling you all for a long time, to invest in precious metals. And most of all, you should be investing in food and survival gear. Then you can worry about investing in other things. But I have no doubt that the price of gold is eventually, maybe hopefully within the next year, is going to double in price. And silver would at least double, maybe even triple or quadruple in price. But I kept getting visions of that, of people, a gold rush basically, is what Spirit kept showing me, like the old gold rush in California back in the 1800s or whenever that was. That's what Spirit showed me happening again, that gold is going to become, and then we're going to unfortunately see a lot of theft around the same things, and jewelry stores, probably being forced to close their doors due to thieves stealing mainly gold or any precious metals. And that includes platinum and all the other precious metals as well. And as I've always said, and stick to it, silver, especially if you don't have money to buy an ounce of gold, which is what, like $1,900 an ounce right now. Whereas you can get an ounce of silver just over $20, and investing in that, again, if it doubles, you doubled your money, but I believe it's going to triple or quadruple. Spirit's been telling us this for a while, for a couple of years, that it would do that. And we're at that point where we're seeing that that's very likely. So Spirit was right with that advice going back at least 2 years ago. Excuse me. What else do I have? There is an interesting story that someone sent me. Let me bring this up. Say again, this is when you're not prepared to do a show. My friend Jeff sent me this story that I thought was really interesting, that to us is likely an abduction of some sort. There's it. So check this out. This young lady in Alabama, an Alabama woman who went missing after reporting a toddler walking on the interstate, just returned home, police say. This article is from 2 days ago. An Alabama woman who went missing after telling 911 dispatcher that she saw a toddler walking alone on the side of an interstate has returned home. Carathea, or Carly, Nicole Russell, 25, had been missing since Thursday night when she called 911 and told the dispatcher that she saw a child on the side of the Interstate 459 South. After the call, Russell stopped her vehicle to check on the toddler and called a family member who lost contact with her, though the line remained open, according to police at the Hoover Police Department. When officers arrived at the scene, this is really interesting, they found Russell's vehicle and some of her belongings, including her wig, her phone, and her purse, but no sign of her or any child, according to police. At around 10:45 p.m. Saturday, the Hoover 911 Center received a call that Russell had returned home on foot, according to police. Police officers in the fire department responded to the scene and transported Russell to a local hospital where she was treated and released, according to police. It is very unclear where Russell had been since Thursday, and no further details were provided. What happened to the kid, friends? This is easily, we can see exactly what happened. And where's the kid? She didn't make this up. So I would tell you, remember what I said about predictions about more stories and UFOs becoming to the forefront. And I said that in January's predictions, and look what's been happening with the whole UFO agenda being pushed down our throats. And some of the reported stories and some of the reported disclosure stories say that it's, of course, our own people that are connected to these UFOs. The ones that have been reverse engineered. And that takes me to the point of my Antarctica video. Very interesting stuff that I saw that Spirit showed me in Antarctica that is so disturbing that you're not going to want to miss it. But an alien abduction, even though it doesn't say that, and the article does go on, but it doesn't really give us any more information other than her making that report. And you don't just disappear for, what was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for 2 days, 3 days, and leave your cell phone, your wig, your purse, and your car, and then end up on foot at your house days later. Kind of interesting. There's much more to this story that's going to come out, I assure you. And chances are we'll be seeing this Nicole Russell, 25 from Alabama, coming out with some more information. We would love to hypnotize her and see where she went during that whole spectacle. That'd be really interesting, wouldn't it? So, what else we got? 1 second. Somebody sent me some links and I just gotta go over there to retrieve them. I hope you're all having a great day today. Here we go. Boom. Let's see. Oh, news story on Taiwan. How about that? Taiwan rings alarm bells as record number of Chinese warships are spotted around the island. And they're going to invade. There ain't no doubt about it. The operation marked the biggest development of ships in the Taiwan Strait since it all started. Oh, wait, I lost my spot. The island's defense minister analysts said the operation, which comes a week after the People's Liberation Army Navy carried out exercises over Taiwan, and the latest step in China's intimidation campaign. Xi Jinping has repetitively hinted to the PRC's commitment to reclaiming the land his country still claims as an integral part of its territory. That's just awful. Prayers to the Taiwan people and to that whole area of Taiwan. Not good. Here's another one. Oh, the train derailments. I told you there would be more to come. A lot more to come, and here's the difference. We know that there are tons of train derailments every year, thousands actually reported, but this time what we're seeing the most of is train derailments involving toxic chemicals and causing, evacuations. We saw it in Ohio. We saw it just recently in the Yellowstone River got polluted. With the vision I had of a train derailment over a bridge dumping in toxic chemicals into the river, and that just happened, unfortunately, about a week and a half ago, going into, again, the Yellowstone River. Not good at all. And then we have, in Philadelphia, well, outside of Philadelphia, a huge train derailment. I believe it's 40 cars, if I remember correctly, while this loads up. They're saying, that's interesting, I didn't know this. A sinkhole may be to blame for the freight train derailment in White Marsh Township. One of the derailed cars is leaking, they say, non-hazardous white silicone pellets, township officials said. I don't see how silicone pellets can be healthy. A CSX train derailed in the White Marsh Township on Monday morning near Joshua Road in Stenton Avenue. The derailment happened on tracks operated by the Norfolk Southern. I talked about Norfolk Southern, and I did a whole video on train derailments and the truth about train derailments. If you missed that video, be sure to go back and check it out. I'll try to get a link up top so that you have it. There are no reported injuries and any known hazard to the general public, but here's the thing, they evacuated the area when it happened. So if it wasn't hazardous, why did they hurry up and evacuate the area? It's just another incident, another, And we're gonna see more of this and more of this. Spirit's showing me fires, and I may have said this in the past, but fires related or connected to the edge of Yellowstone National Park. So I get that now. Australia too. Australia, Mike. Wildfires. And they look like they're towards the center of Australia. So I don't know my geography of Australia, but the way Spirit shows me, it's kind of in the center. It's going to be alleged from a lightning strike. Alleged, that's what Spirit says. So our friends in Australia, be aware, be clear, and leave in the comments where that could be. Because, let others know in the comments where I'm kind of seeing like the center, but off, if I'm looking at the map, off a little bit more towards the left, just slightly. But it's literally almost the center of Australia. Along with, that's another thing, the earthquakes that I predicted around Australia and New Zealand, I believe also just happened. Let me bring up the earthquake map, actually. Let's bring up the earthquake map. And let's see. We're going to do... So, doesn't see anything big here. I wouldn't expect, this is just the past day. Let me change my settings here and put it on the next week. Past week, I mean. Oh, what happened? It just totally disappeared. Let's start that again. Earthquake map settings. Magnitudes. It's not working today. Of course it's not working when I'm recording. Of course. But when you look at the earthquake map, not that you can see it right now, but it's basically the whole ring of fire, and then there's one right in the center that just happened, which has to be Hawaii right there, right? Yep, island of Hawaii. It was a small one at 2.7 that just happened on the 8th today, this morning. This is only showing me today. Let me change my settings. 7 days. Past 7 days. The 4.5s and higher brings us to, that's not many actually. That's not many at all. 58 earthquakes. Remember, like it was 2 weeks ago, there were 111 earthquakes all within the past week. So activity is pretty silent, but there was just a 6.6 in Argentina. I talked about the edge of Argentina in past predictions. Philippines, 4.5. They're all kind of slow, but the Alaska one was 7.2, so I was right about that. 7.2 on the edge of Alaska. Where was that? Yeah, right on the bottom edge of Alaska, right in where the volcanic islands are actually, which means that chances are that there's going to be a huge volcanic blast that happens right around that same area in the near future. Mexico had a 6.3 earthquake, which isn't really that big yet either. The 7.2 is pretty big. That did set off alarms. Spirit says there's much more to come, which I will talk about, of course, next week. Why can't I get rid of this darn thing? Can't get this thing off my screen. Okay. We'll talk more about earthquakes next week because I still believe it's going to be somewhat silent. But now Spirit also says to expect there to be extreme activity again right around the next the final phase of the 777 waves of energy, which again is next week, the 25th, but also again towards the very end of the month. And this is the quiet before the storm is what Spirit says. It's going to be interesting. So you're going to want to tune in next week when I have everything organized and I'm not on vacation, so that I can give you much more information in details. And remember, again, if you are just joining, I will be editing my remote viewing to Antarctica, which I found to be quite disturbing. And you're going to not want to miss that either. I thought there were more links that people sent me, but I am not finding them. So, I think I'm going to leave you with this short show today. Hold on, there's more. Just let me check the notes. We talked about Taiwan, we talked about gold, precious metals, Yellowstone. It came from Spirit. Big storm still yet to come in July. And when Spirit says a big storm, I don't think they're talking about weather. I definitely don't think Spirit's talking about the weather. Yeah, that's what was happening in the Netherlands, a big farm buyout. It's a good video on Epic epic news about the farm buyout. That's what the name of the video is, farm buyout, epic news. Really interesting. If you really want to know what they did to those poor farmers, you're not going to want to miss that. And maybe that if the Netherlands government did really resign, as all y'all told me in the comments, maybe that's a big part of it. But here's the thing, is they resign and then we get worse people that end up going in there. That's the problem. And they already did the damage that's going to affect and ripple affect the whole entire planet. So, and why is India launching a rocket to the moon? I just find that to be very, very interesting. Down below in the comments, or down below in the description, you'll find the link to my newsletter. Usually I put one out around the new moons and full moons. I did not this new moon because, again, I am on vacation. We just had the new moon. We're in the amazing phase of manifesting, making things happen. Write down your intentions, write down your goals, write down your dreams. It's amazing and powerful, especially the sooner you do it, the better. This new moon is going to bring more growth. We're going to see more innovations and inventions that come out over the next week, some surprising and amazing information, and some scientific discoveries coming from the skies, according to Spirit. Remember what Spirit told us, keep our eyes to the sky, because they pushed that UFO and all that agenda down our throat, but there's much more to come, including things falling from the skies, if you remember in my last predictions. I will go deeper into detail on that on next week's full episode Tuesday show. But I'm going to leave you with that. Also down below you'll find all the links to my social media, including our supporters on Subscribestar who help make this free content possible, along with all yous who join the community down below. I thank you with infinite loving gratitude. Remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you, because you're friggin' awesome. I'm going to go back on my vacation and enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the future. Spiritman JT signing off. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Much love.